Okay, let me get mine going. Good evening, everyone. We were supposed to have James Vance, but he had a family emergency tonight, and Mynor has graciously stepped up to teach us how to do a color light card. Take it away, Mynor.
All right, thank you guys. Sorry for being late. I just had to set some stuff up for you guys. Um, and I wanted to make sure that I had it ready for you guys so you guys can you guys see my screen? I know I had last time we had issues.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
So it should be bigger because I'm using a smaller screen. So just let me know. Just learning from my mistakes from last time. So if you guys can see it. So the first thing I want to start off with is that the Colorlight card, actually it's my, okay, give me a second. How do I go back? I don't think my video is on, but that's fine. All right, so the first thing that you need to be aware of with the Colorlight card is that it has different versions, and most of the versions that are available in the Colorlight card, whether you buy it from myself, Ken from Wired Watts, Amazon, and for some of the other vendors, it could come with a different version of Colorlight, and it usually comes in the version, I think the highest version right now is 13.26, and unfortunately right now any version above 11 doesn't work with xLights or FPP. So the first thing that we always have to do when we're working on when we're working with the Colorlight cards is that we want to make sure that we download the correct the correct version. So the program that we're going to use to downgrade the version, because we are downgrading it, is going to be LED Upgrade 4.0. I don't use LED Upgrade 5.0 because it's newer, so I haven't had an opportunity to mess with it and make sure that it's a viable source for us. So I'm still using LED Upgrade 4.0. And I want to make sure that you guys are aware that you have to make sure you go to colorlightinside.com. There's actually a spam website available that will take you. It looks just like Colorlight card. This system right here, it looks just like the Ledvision Colorlight website, but it's not the correct website. So make sure that you're going to colorlightinside.com, and I will make sure to post all those links in the chat so you guys can have them as we progress. But I've already downloaded LED Upgrade, but when you do download it, it's going to give you the option, and you just click on it, and you're going to save it, and it's going to be a zip file. Like I said, I already have it, but I'll save it anyways so you guys can see. It's a .rar, so WinZip or WinRAR is going to work perfectly. So either one of those will open it up, and once you install it, it's going to look like like this one right here, LED Upgrade. And then I've already have it set up for mine, but I'll walk you through the process. You're going to go to send mode. And when you first get it, it's actually going to be set on sender mode. And this is not going to give you any information because you don't have sender cards. The only time that you use sender cards is when you're working with high density props like P4, P2.5, P1.9. Once you get into those panels, then you're going to need sender cards. And I actually just learned that now myself. When you're doing smaller versions, like maybe two P2.5s, you might be able to get away with just the Colorlight card. But once you get into like 6, 8, 10, 12 of the P2.5, then you actually need a sender card because there's going to be a lot of lag. So we've definitely ran into that issue now that people are pushing the envelope of how dense we can go with the panels and how many we can use in our shows. So just be aware of that though. So if you do end up needing a sender card, you're going to get something like the A35 or the A100. And that basically just serves as your processing. Instead of your Pi or your computer processing it, then the sender card would be your processor. So once you set up a net card, you're going to go to settings, and then it's going to say NIC setting. And then you're going to just click auto select. And usually it's going to be blank. When you click auto select, it's going to select the gigabit connection. So just to be aware, when you're doing any setups with your controllers for the panels with the Colorlight card, you must have a gigabit adapter. So that's whether your computer has the gigabit adapter or you buy a USB gigabit adapter. I use USB gigabit adapters because most computers don't come with the gigabit Ethernet adapter on there anymore. So you can get that either from, again, my store, Wired Watts, Amazon, whichever one you decide to get them from. They're called USB gigabit adapters. So once you click that auto select, you close it out. You're going to go to detect receiver cards. The reason why you're seeing one is 13.17 and one is 11.9009 is because I actually have two screens right now. You're only seeing one right now, and then I'll show you the other one. But I'm showing that one has already been set up properly, and then the other one hasn't. How can you tell if the setup is done properly? Is your screen will actually be flickering quite a bit. That is a clear sign that you have to downgrade the firmware on your Colorlight card. And if you see anything but 11.09, you have to downgrade. Anything above that is going to give you the flickering that we've seen when people are using the setup, and you can't really see the flickering now. I'm actually gonna close LED upgrade real quick just so I can show you what the flickering looks like. You could see it a little bit on the screen. Can you guys see that a little bit, how it's flickering now? So
Not not really on our end.
yeah, it's very subtle, but it's in real life, it basically looks like the old statically TVs. I again, you not may not be able to see it on the video, but it's flickering right now pretty badly. And so the idea behind that is that you want to get rid of that flicker. So we'll go back to LED upgrade. And the only place you will see the flicker is actually in LED vision or when you're setting up an FPP. So it's not something that you'll be able to, it's not something that you'll be able to see unless you're setting up your panels. So when you're gonna do the downgrade, I always select the slow upgrade or downgrade. For me, it's worked. I haven't had any issues doing it that way, so I prefer to go doing that way. And then you can also click the one that's already there. It doesn't hurt to do to do it again. So you're going to go to upgrade firmware. And again, you're really downgrading it, but it's saying upgrade. And it's actually a preset firmware. You don't have to choose, and you don't have to go anywhere else. And one of the reasons that I don't go to 5.0 LED upgrade 5.0 is that reason, is that the downgrade version that we need is no longer available there. But if you stay with LED upgrade 4.0, it's immediately available for you as a preset. So you don't have to go looking for it, searching for it, or any of that stuff. And then you can see some of the changes that the normal will do. And the thing that you're going to notice is the timing. And I believe that the timing was the thing that was causing the issues. And that's what we're trying to upgrade on the Colorlight card. So you're going to press OK. As we're doing this, you're going to see the bar changing over here. It's going to say upgrading. Once it's done upgrading, it's actually going to tell you here, please turn off your screens. You literally just have to turn off the screens for about maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and the upgrade is complete. And then you can go back to working on it on LED vision. So we're just going to allow time right now to go through the downgrade. And you can see that even in the slow upgrade version, it's still moving pretty fast. Any questions up to this point? And if anyone sees any questions in the chat, please, I don't have the chat open, so please let me know.
Quick question, for instances where you might need a sender card, are you now selling sender cards?
Yes, we just started carrying the sender cards just because of that situation. Our customers are always pushing the envelope, and I appreciate that because it keeps me on my toes. But yes, we have the 835 and the A100 available now. And the difference between the 835 and the A100 is price point. They're very expensive. The A100 is about $400 or $500, and the 835 is about $100. And the main difference is that the A100 allows wireless transfer. It has its own like hard drive in it to hold the data. So then you can just send data wirelessly to it and it stores it locally. The 830 and it has live streaming opportunity. So you can connect your TVs or anything to it. So it allows you to live stream to your screens. The 835 is just, it just allows for the processing and it has a smaller hard drive in it. So it still has it still has a hard drive, but it's just smaller. So yeah, we do have those available, but again, you can get that on other websites as well. And while we're waiting for this, I can also, I'll walk around with the computer over here. So right now, what you guys are looking at right now is a 6x3 unit. So basically that means it's 6 panels tall and 3 panels across, which makes it a even square. I don't know if you guys, let me know if you guys can see that. So that's the one panel that we're working on right now. But I also have this other one that's turned off right now. But once we get the other one set up, then we'll work on this one. So you guys can see how you combine panels. We'll walk through the process of how to combine panels. So even if you start off with a small unit, you can always add more down the road. And what I like best is I like to add a Colorlight card for every 4 across. So if your screen is 4 panels wide, once you get to the 5th panel wide, then I like to add a second Colorlight card, and that helps with keeping the refresh at a optimal level. So your image looks a lot better, a lot cleaner, and you don't run into some of the lag that we've been running into.
I got a quick one, Minor. Do you know the thread size on those boxes for the side and bottom?
They're M10s, the ones right here on the sides and on the top. Yeah, these are M10 bolts. So yeah, since while we're waiting, yeah, so these are the aluminum casings that we sell. But there's a lot of people that make their own out of wood. And what I always tell people is these are outdoor screens, these are outdoor units. You can see that I'm actually touching it. There is no plexiglass on here. That's the main difference between knowing if it's a outdoor or indoor unit. The indoor plastic, the indoor ones need a plastic in front of it, like plexiglass or acrylic, to prevent water from hitting it. With these, the panels don't need that. They're outdoor panels. You can just use them as is. You don't have to worry about any acrylic or anything. But with the aluminum casings, yeah, all the way around and in the back, they're M10 bolts.
Thank you.
Is that panel up, what, a P2.5?
No, these are P5s.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
these
you
are.
were you were talking some numbers earlier. What's the top of the line bleeding edge panel these days?
The P1.9s. Yeah, the P1.9s, if we were looking per panel, you're probably about $120 per panel.
Wow.
Yeah, and by the way, that's $120 per panel for a square. It's not even the rectangular shape, so it's actually half the size of the regular P5 panels. Yeah, so basically about $240 for the same size panel as these. All right, so now you can see it says upgrade successfully, and then it says upgrade successfully, please power off and then on. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. You're gonna see me walk across the screen. You're gonna see a quick. It's gonna turn off, then you're gonna see a quick little scramble, and that's when I know that it's ready to go. So bear with me. So we're gonna go close this out. And we're gonna open Ledvision and there. So now we know that we've upgraded the firmware on this. The next thing that we're going to do, and again, if you're getting the panels, whether you're getting it from me, WiredWatch, Wally's, the most important thing is if you're going to set it up in Ledvision, and you don't need, by the way, you don't need Ledvision. I just prefer Ledvision. It's easier for me, but if you want to set them up, you can set them up in FPP as well. But the cool thing about this is that the Ledvision is specific for Colorlight cards. And if you guys can see, I actually have Ledvision 8.6. I'm going to go back to the website over here, and I'm going to show you guys where it's Ledvision. Ledvision is the first one here. There's Ledvision all the way to 9.6. I'm on 8.6 right now. And the reason why is because in Ledvision 8.8, 9.0, and higher, they've changed the GUI on us, and it's very complicated. And in fact, once you get to 9.0, they no longer allow you to use the gigabit adapters. So you're required to use a sender card. So if you're stuck with the gigabit adapter, make sure that you use Ledvision 8.6. You don't want to go any further because it removes the option to use the gigabit adapters to set up the Colorlight card. So once we're here, we're going to go to screen size and count settings. And the thing about this is basically we're determining how many panels across and how many panels down we're doing. And if you notice, they ask for the width first. And we know that our panels are 64 by 32. That's the resolution of every panel. And the panels are about 12 and a quarter inches and 6.5 inches tall. So if we're going 3 panels across, which is this one right here that we're looking at right here, if we're going 3 panels across, the size is 192. And for the height, it's 32 times 6. So we also get 192. So again, we have a perfect square. We're going to set that up. If we changed it, let's just change it to 128. You would actually see a difference here in the screen. Let me make it a little smaller so you guys can see it. So let's go 64. You notice that the LED changed. You see the LEDs now? Now they've changed, and now the panel looks funky because it's overlapping data. So we're just going to change it back, and we're back to where we needed to go. So it's important that you get the resolution correctly. When we get to LED screen settings, password is 168. It's very high tech. So we're going to get to the sender. When we get here, this is how it's usually set up. You have the sender card, but we're using net card, aka our USB adapter, and you're going to click on use net card. And when you click on use net card, it's going to allow you to choose. If you have several of them, it's going to allow you to choose. We're going to click detect receivers. And as you can see, the versions are 11.09. So the upgrade was done correctly. And the next thing that we're going to do is go to receiver parameters. And with the receiver parameters, you're going to do 2 things. One, if you're getting the panels, a full build panel like this from us, the first thing that we're working on this, and trust me, we're going to have manuals and everything set up for this because we run into a lot of issues with this. You want to click read. A lot of people like to go to load and send first because they see panels are us, or they see a Travis Leader video, and those videos are great. There's nothing wrong with those videos, but when you do that, you're removing all the data that's saved on the Colorlight card. So what we're going to do is we're going to click read. and it says read parameters successfully, it's going to give us all the parameters that are already set up in the card. So I'm going to close this out again so you guys can see. So again, we're going to read, and all the parameters are there. 192, here's the cabinet information, 192, 192. The refresh rate, when you have a panel this wide, at 3 panels wide, you can keep the refresh rate at 19 by 20. The gray levels, sometimes I recommend, the factory says that it's okay to leave it here, but I actually recommend that you bring it down to 4096 because it helps with the brightness level. If you want it really bright, and these units are bright, when you use outdoor units, they are incredibly bright. And so I like to, even though they send them already pre-programmed, I like to drop the gray levels to 4096. And then of course it says, if you want to display gray level first as priority or brightness, again, for me, brightness is priority. And once I get that, then I send it to the unit. You're not going to see that much of a change. You're only going to see that change. You're only going to see that change once you actually put a video on there, and you'll get to see it. And that's only, again, only if it comes in our configuration the way we do it. If you're getting a panel that you don't have the RCB file, or you just got a panel from Amazon, wherever you got it from, you're actually going to go through intelligent setting. In intelligent setting, it's going to ask you information about the panel. It's going to read some of the information off. You see here, it read some of the information, and you see that it's now in a bright level. With that brightness right now, basically we're going to be setting up the panel. And one of the things about using 8.6 is that now there's extra options here. I've never had to use these options, and I highly recommend that you don't use them, because there's a lot of technical stuff in the setup with LED vision that we just don't use. Another thing that you want to make sure when you're getting your panels is make sure you know what the scan rate is. One of the things that you'll run into issues with FPP is that if you don't know the scan rate, it's just not going to look right, and you're going to be wondering what's going on. I believe indoor units are 16 scan rate. Can some of the gurus verify that? Ron, if you're still here, hopefully. I think it's scan rate 16 for the indoor.
I'm here. P5s, there's 8 scan and 16 scan. I don't know if they're specifically indoors or one and outdoors or the other. So
Okay.
most all the outdoors I've seen are 8 scan.
Yeah, so that I kind of agree with that. So the 8 scan is for the outdoor and 16 scan for the indoor. I know that P10s also change as well. So just be aware whether you have a P10 or you have a P5 setup. And then so once you set that up, you're going to click on next. Let me go back so we can go through the whole process. Is it erasing it? Sorry, give me a second. Why isn't it letting me?
I came in late, Mike. Do you already do the receiver mapping?
No, not yet. We will get to that right after this step right here. Yep, right after this step. I'm just trying to go back so you guys can see the whole process. So you can see you have to individually pick. Not sure why. Let me just click reset. And then previous. Okay, it's not letting me do it. Not sure why. That's weird. It's going directly to the. Okay. All right, so basically when you're setting up the panels, I apologize for some reason, you're actually going to be doing exactly what I just did here. You see, you're going to be highlighting basically each LED on the panel to give the data to that panel. And then when you click finish, you'll get this right here. For some odd reason, it's not letting me go through the intelligence setting. Let me see. Oh, there it is. It let me do it. All right. So here you're going to see that it's going to tell you answer correctly. So if one displays black and two displays white, which is exactly what's happening now, number two displayed white, then we click next and we're good to go. So we're going to click next. Then it's going to tell you, is number one red, number two green, number three blue, and number four is black. Then you click yes, everything's good to go. Then it's going to ask you how many rows are lighting in a module. So we're actually going to go here, because this is kind of bright, so apologies. So you're actually counting each individual pixel that's on right here, each individual light that's on. So we're here for 8, 12, and 16. So it's already set up for us. It's saying that we have 16 on. So we're going to click yes. Then it's going to ask us how many rows are lighting up in the module. So right now we have this right here. Give me a second. Why is it? So we have 2 of them on. You guys can see 1 and 2. Ignore this dim light right here. That's not important. But we have 2 rows that are lit up. And because I already had done it before, it's already populated the information for me. But you can see the information is put in there for us. So we're just going to click finish. And then once we do that, you want to save to receiver. You want to save this information to the receiver. When you guys are working with the receiver mapping, let's just delete this one right here so it's easier. You want to create a new one. Give me a second. So you click on this. Make sure you notice that it was white when we first started, and there's a 0 there. If you don't click on this, the mapping doesn't go to the screen. And then once you click on it, you see there's a 1 assigned to it. That's when you have one screen. We have this screen right here set up. But let's say we have a second screen. And by the way, is there any questions before I move forward with the mapping? All right. So let's say we have a second screen. We're just going to say we have a second screen that's identical to this one. So we're actually going to click on that. And if you can see, we have 2 screens now. And we're going to say screen 1 is number 1 and screen 2 is number 2. Now, you guys see this arrow right here. I'm going to say that arrow is green because I'm colorblind. I'm hoping that I'm correct. If not, please somebody correct me, but I believe that is a green arrow. And so the green arrow is going from panel number 1 to panel number 2. That's telling me that the panel number 1 is the master, and then there's going to be a Ethernet cable that goes from panel number 1 to panel number 2. And when I mean panel, I mean the whole screen. So we're talking about screen number 1 to screen number 2. So you're combining them together. Now, if the data goes the opposite way, where it's screen number 2 is the master, we're going to click on this one, the layout setup. And now the data is going to be going from panel number 2, if there was a panel here, to panel number 1 over here. So that's the simple way of doing it, because we have 2 panels that are exact same data. But in our situation, it's a little bit different, because the panel that I have over there, which I'll connect right now, is actually bigger. It's actually, this panel right here is actually 256. It's 4 panels wide by 192. So that's where we're going to go right now, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So give me a second. So when we're doing the mapping here, again, we're going, as of right now, this is going to be wrong, but right now we're saying panel number 1 is the large one, which I'm going to go over there and check. And then panel number 2 is the small one right here. So I'll show you guys, if you get it wrong, what it looks like. And this is exactly what I wanted to show you guys. So this is the correct one right here. And this is what it looks like when you get it wrong. It's going to be a little bit jumbled up, and it's not showing you the data that you need on the corner right there. So that means that I have the data going the wrong direction. So I need to fix that. So I'll fix that right now. So I do know that the data is actually going the other way. So we have to go back to layout. We're going to send it. Let me just check now. Let me send it over there, but it's not. Let me see. Why isn't it sending it? Did I get this? Give me 1 second. I think this one got disconnected. Let me put a video on there. So let's just keep this for now. So we're gonna send it. So I know there was somebody asking about the mapping. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like right now. But I have to make an adjustment after. But is there any questions about the mapping? This is what it would look like if you were adding 2 different panel setups and 2 different Colorlight cards. Okay, so remember, this is Colorlight card number 1. This is Colorlight card number 2. We're gonna close this. And remember that our first panel was 192. But now we have the other panel. So we're gonna be at 448. And you guys noticed that our screen here also changed. And then you also saw that this changed. Right here. Did you notice that the LED moved from the middle to the side? That's because the screens are becoming one. So I'm gonna try to show you guys. The screens are becoming one, but the data is still saying that this panel right here is a different size. So that means that the data is going the opposite direction that we want. And so we'll go back to here and adjust that. So now we should see, the LED visions on the corners. So you see the LED vision on one corner over here, and the other LED vision should be on this corner. over here.
Your camera's a little off center now.
Is it off center, you say?
That's
Okay.
good. That's good.
With me. So it's actually going this way and set up. So this one, let's save it to the devices. Okay. So now, if I come here, you're going to see the mouse. Where'd it go? Why isn't this 448, 192? Then I do the, is it not saving it to the thing?
That's how it works.
Did I change anything? Let's send. That's the very. Let's focus on this one first. Let me delete this real quick. For some odd reason, it's not reading this one. Send. Okay. And the second one. Send. Okay, that one did read it. Let's go the opposite way. Send, okay. Okay, that should do it. All right.
That's supposed to be like 4 something though, at 256.
No, because what we're doing is we're doing 256 on this one right here and then 192 on this one right here. It's supposed to become one unit. So what I'm seeing right now is that it's reading this unit right here, but it's not reading the second unit. So just trying to see if I can send it to the it's telling me that it read it. So this one's already set up. And then this one right here. Is reading it right there. Okay, let me change that then. I want it the opposite way. Okay, so now there you go. So this should have read it that way over there. And then. All right, here we go. Yep. So we have the screen. You guys make sure I see it. So you have the screen here. Remember, we have the LED, that means that's the corner. And then this is the second unit that has the LED on the corners here. Can you guys see that? Hopefully, can you guys see that? There. Can you guys see that LED one?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay, so basically that screen right here, this separate screen and that screen together make one unit. Are you guys able to see that? Just let me know because I'm walking with a laptop. So that screen right there and this screen right here make one unit. So if I were to combine them together right now, it would make one unit, one combined unit. So that allows when you're doing the mapping and you're trying to do an extension of it, give me a sec if I can move them together. Can you guys see it now? That's a little better, right? So you guys can see that it's one whole unit now combined together. So if I put a video on here, let me see what video I have on here. Hoping nothing that's gonna get me in trouble. Or the image. There you go. See, so now it goes again across two screens. Here's screen number one, here's screen number two. And of course you would align it a little bit more, but that's the idea behind it. You can combine different screens. Let me see if I stretch it out. There you go. Now they're a little bit closer. So yeah, so that's how you combine two screens right there. Again, you go back to the receiver mapping and you just determine it. And if you had a third one, you would just add a third one and then just determine which way the data is going and go from there. And that allows you to be pretty much do a limitless sizing on the units. And the cool thing about it is, like you said, that you can put different size screens on them, so you can grow the unit as your budget allows. Once you're done with this right here and you're going to save it. I like to save, you can see the 6x3. I like to save them on my laptop once I'm done. So if I go anywhere and I screw it up, I can always come back and download it. So this is the, the file for that one. You also want to go to the receiver mapping and you also want to save that. Again, I already have the mapping saved there. And then it's just a matter of just going back to uploading the original and you go in there, press send. And now you see it went back to the original. You have two different screens talking as one individual, but it's the same data going to both of them. Same thing over here. You would just go here, load, if you save this. Well, this one takes a little longer because what's it's going to end up doing right now, it's going to download. See, it's going to ask you to download the ones from Colorlight, the Colorlight server. I don't recommend you use any of that stuff. There's like hundreds of options there. I can't tell you if which one is the correct one. I don't use those at all. So that you can see it's still loading it. It's quite, like I said, it's quite a few of them that they load. And once it loads it, you want to load your RCVB file on there and go from there. Any questions? No. Anything else that you guys need me to go through?
Did I hear you say you could set the Colorlight card up with only the FPP and not the LED vision, or did I
From what
misunderstand?
I've again, some of the gurus in the Zoom room can correct me, but I believe you can set them up sometimes through FPP. I think I've seen people do that. But I don't know the process through FPP.
Not if you're using a Colorlight card.
Okay, there you go.
If you're using like an Octo Scroller or Octo Plus.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So it's only for the like Pi base or the Octo Scroller setups.
Most of those are going to be BeagleBone based, but yeah, they're more like if you have a panel hat, right, then that's the other choice other than Colorlight, but that's going to be for smaller setups.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you guys. And if you guys have any questions you didn't want to shoot through, just I'll be hanging out a little bit.
Can you give a 1-minute summary of what's the supported versions so that people watching this video later?
Oh, absolutely. So the supported versions, the supported versions is LED Vision 8.6. That's the one that we currently have right here, LED Vision 8.6. Then we have the LED upgrade, LED upgrade 4.0. Those are the ones that I know that are working properly right now. And then the version for the LED upgrade that you want to use is 11.09. Once again, that's 11.09. That's the downgrade of any of the Colorlight cards that you're going to be getting that you want to make sure that you have.
And what would they experience if they had a newer version?
You're going to see if you're using FPP or xLights, you're going to see a lot of flickering. It immediately, once you connect your Ethernet cable, your adapter, once you connect it directly to your USB adapter or to your Pi, with FPP, you're going to see flickering, or with FPP, you're not going to see flickering. With FPP, you actually won't get any data. It'll look like your Pi is dead and there's no data going through. That means instantly that your Colorlight card needs a downgrade. Once you get the downgrade, then you'll see the Pi active. Without that upgrade, the Pi will look like it's dead and it's not doing anything, and that's caused a lot of headaches for people. So make sure that's an easy way of doing it. Other way, it's LED Vision, and then you'll see flickering once you turn it on.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions? Mynor, I want to thank you for stepping up at the last minute and giving us this great class to how to set these things up.
I appreciate it. I again appreciate you guys calling me, and hopefully you guys got most of the answers that you guys were looking for. And of course, if you guys do need anything, feel free to reach out.
And how do we reach out to you?
So I have my cell phone number on the website. So it's
What's your website?
So it's yourpixelstore.com. So my phone number is on there. My personal phone number is on there. And also our email is support@yourpixelstore.com. And that's the easiest way to reach us. If you need immediate assistance, the easiest way is giving us a call, and we're open from 9 to 4 Pacific Standard Time.